Welcome to All Hitches, America's favorite Northern Virginia podcast. We are live, Coach Mesa. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. I'm I'm a little tired from being out in the sun all day, but yeah. I mean, we went among the people, right?
Yes, we really did.
Yeah. Been a lot of places over the last week. I've seen we both seen a lot of football.
A lot of football.
Yeah.
A lot of football.
Yeah, we've been out there, and it's exciting though. Exciting to see people see the footballs back in the air. I think I told you I always consider once June hit, I feel like it's football season.
Yeah, right? No, 100%. You are 100% correct.
Got NFL OTAs going, right? You got teams with their camps going.
I mean, you got the heat because today was a little bit of August, September heat.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, the trainers out there with their little thing with the little humidity ball going like that.
Bulb kind of looking, hoping to cancel practice, right? You know how that goes, right?
I do know how that goes. I do know how that goes out here.
So much. We went live today. And you and I both looking like Don Ho, got good tans because we're out there in the sun all day. And I'll tell you what, so much to talk about. We said, let's just go live and let's give it all to the people.
Yeah.
And what we're going to start, we're going to get right into it. And we're going to start last week. There was a big event at C.G. Woodson High School with the Commanders and Girls Like, and you, my friend, were there. So what do you got?
It was pretty awesome. I think there was like 160 girls, 170 girls out there. They had over 225 signed up. But obviously the rain scared some people away, but we got really lucky. We had that really heavy, it rained really heavy for about 10 minutes and then it just cleared up and it was great. A lot of the girls had a really good time. They went through like 6 stations, kind of learned all the different positions. They got to throw the ball a little bit. They got to catch the ball, run the ball, practice some DB stuff, practice some linebacker stuff.
The legendary Coach Adams.
Legendary Coach Adams was there. He's going to be the flag football czar, I guess.
He's going to be like the Goodell.
Also, legendary Washington Redskin Gary Clark. Gary Clark in the house.
I love Gary Clark.
Yeah, the good old posse, right?
That's right.
Monk, Sanders, and Clark.
That's right.
They would line up in that stack formation right there. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, and we used to play football in the streets. We'd always line up in that posse formation, right? We just thought it was cool. We didn't know what we were doing, but we would line up in that formation.
Gary Clark, JMU guy.
Yeah, it was a really cool event. The girls were really excited. I'm excited. I plan on coaching at Woodson next year. In what capacity? Who knows? Who knows? I'm going to take the head job. I don't know how this is all going to play out for myself. But yeah, I think it's awesome that you're going to have these young ladies, give them an opportunity to play, and it looks like they're going to have the opportunity to play at the collegiate level. The most Division I schools now have a women's flag football team, and I think the NCAA in the next year or two are going to vote, and it may end up becoming an actual NCAA sport.
Well, it makes sense. It's going to be an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
Right. So it makes perfect sense. And I even heard there was a couple local schools there. And I heard one was even maybe making a couple of offers.
Yeah. It's 100%. Yeah, they're out there trying to get girls to play. Now, my guess is they're not going to be scholarship offers, right? But they're trying to get their team going, and they kind of see the, they see the. I can't think of the word right now. We're outside a long time.
Your brain's a little fried.
But they can see down the road that this is going to become a thing, and so
no, they see it. It's going to be $1 million business. I mean. Yeah. And you want to get on the ground floor of that.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe this is my way to coach college football. Maybe I can find my
you and I were talking about something. So one thing that we hadn't talked about on the show that we kind of know now, and we haven't talked about it, the girls are going to go 7-on-7.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Not a lot of flag leagues, 7-on-7 flag leagues. Matter of fact, I looked this up, and I think USA flag is 6-on-6 or 5-on-5.
Yeah.
That's an interesting turnaround. The VHSL is going to do 7-on-7.
Now, so I was talking with Coach Adams, a few other coaches, and you and I have been coaching for a long time, and they're going to be able to send 6 into the pattern, and that's really hard to defend. Usually you send 5, right? Usually the defense outnumbers the offense 7 to 5.
Right, because it's not like 7 on. So the center can go out for.
Center can go out, and the quarterback can run.
Right.
So
Without
I mean,
blitzing.
without blitzing, they can just take off. And I've been coaching football a long time, and if I had to coach against that, I would have real issues trying to figure out how to you're going to end up having to spy somebody, which is going to keep you from going too high. Because if you go too high, you can't spy the quarterback and cover everybody in the field. So,
a couple things. So the 7-on-7, which I'm going to get back to that in a second because I find that interesting. I got a theory on this. I'm going to let the world know my theory in a second.
Okay.
It's just a dash theory. It could mean nothing. I could be wrong because I'm wrong about 95% of the time.
Where's your Nostradamus hat?
I should have got it's in storage till
the season, right?
I should have worn it today. Nostradamus should have come back for this prediction, but I'll get to that in a second. A couple of the rules people have been asking about. So 1, 7-on-7, which I find extremely interesting. 2, I like that you can blitz, unlimited, and it's unlimited blitzing.
Yes.
And the QB can just take off.
And they line up your blitzer can line up on the line of scrimmage.
On the line of scrimmage. They're going to allow run plays and all that, right? Yeah. A couple other things. They're going to start it right now. The goal is to start it when they say JV freshman field hockey season ends.
Correct. Yeah.
In the fall.
Yeah.
So and that'll allow some of those freshmen and JV field hockey girls, maybe some cross country girls, et cetera, volleyball girls to go. It's going to be very short. It'll end probably before winter starts. The winter sports start.
Right.
So it's a pilot, right? It's a pilot. We all know sitcom pilots.
Yeah.
This is kind of a pilot episode of Girls Flag, right? So it's going to be short and kind of.
It's like when back when we were kids and they'd always do the movie first before they did the cartoon. Like the G.I. Joe movie came out first, and then you got the G.I. Joe cartoon.
Yes. Now, what I find interesting, this is my theory on the 7-on-7. Like I said, I found that number strange. This will interest any football coaches out there, any boys football coaches, men's football, high school football. I think that VHSL 7-on-7 is a weird number. If USA and Olympic flag is not doing 7-on-7, that's what I find interesting. When you hear 7-on-7, what do you think of? You don't think of flag. What do you think of?
You think of spring 7-on-7, which you think of.
Okay, so I think that down the road, this is setting up for a high school league of 7-on-7.
Which they've done in Texas for a very long time. They have a 7-on-7 state championship.
Yeah,
in Texas.
So I think this is gearing up for that, and it'll allow they can kind of do the boys version of that in the spring.
Right.
And with that, you'll have the high school coaches. He'll coach that too. Right. Or assistant coaches will coach that, whatever. It'll be a game changer down the road. Again, that's a theory of mine. It could be nothing, but I just found the number 7 I found weird.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. Actually, I talked to Tom Horn about that, and he said he doesn't see that coming anytime soon because the current VHSL commissioner in charge of that is very against it. But that commissioner is retiring.
There you go.
So the next commissioner,
Goodell leaves, and the new guy, or Paul Tagliabue leaves, and Goodell comes in. You never know, right?
Yeah, and I think that may really help with the proselytizing, right? If you're playing for your high school, you don't have to go out and find an elite team to play for, right? You're already playing for your school, and much like some of the basketball coaches do, there's your opportunity to let your coordinator be the head coach. You kind of are the overseer of the thing, right? You tell them what you want, and that'll give the coordinators. And again, this is if your theory is correct, the coordinator a chance to be a head coach. So that way, when they apply for a job, they then can do that as well, right?
And this could be years. Even if it does happen, it could be like you said. Tom Horn said he doesn't see it happening right now. We could be talking years on the road. I just think that that's something that could happen down the road.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to kind of see that. All right, so you went from that awesome event, the Girls Flag event, and you're a man on a mission. I woke up, I was feeling a little groggy, I was feeling a little tired. I had Paul Simon Contra to go to, but you burning the midnight oil.
Yeah,
you went to TJ right after that.
I went to TJ right after, and unfortunately, they only played 2 games. The teams only played 2 games, so I didn't get to see a lot of it because I got there late after the 7-on-7 event. I got to watch Woodson and Yorktown play. Yorktown looked good, man. Yorktown is going to be a problem for people, and you
run double tight end sets, 2 6'5" tight ends.
That Brady Owens kid is really going to be a real issue for people, man. That kid is put together. I mean, we thought he was a junior there. We played him when he was a sophomore, right? I mean, we got to see that kid up close and personal, in the 23 season. they're going to be a problem. I got to see Wakefield play a little
Rutgers,
bit.
by the way, Rutgers commit.
Did he finally commit to Rutgers? I got to see Wakefield play a little bit. I got to see AC play a little bit. I get like I didn't to see a lot because the games they had shortened about the amount of games that they played.
Anything stand out to you with Wakefield? We've been hearing good things about Wakefield in the offseason.
I thought Wakefield looked really athletic. I thought defensively they did pretty well. The team they're playing, which I think was a DC team, I'm not sure. They wore these really colorful jerseys, so I didn't know where they were from. And by the time I got there, everything was kind of full swing, so I couldn't really make my rounds. As soon as I got there, footballs were in the air, so I got to watch them play a little bit. I thought, who else really impressed me was West Potomac. West Potomac, and actually West Potomac, I understand, won the whole thing. No.
I was going to say, well, they impressed you. South Lakes won it. Yeah, South Lakes played West Potomac in the final.
I didn't get a chance to see South Lakes play though. I heard they played well from
South Lakes could be back. They had the dominant season.
Yeah,
took a year off, kind of regrouped. They were young this past year. Yeah, they could come back again like gangbusters. You never know. But
I thought West Potomac looked. I mean, they looked pretty good. When I saw them for a little bit. Other than that, I think I said it was hard for me to kind of see the games because they were kind of fast going. I will give. Here's another thing I did like. TJ had actual officials. They actually had zebras on the field, which I think I thought was really good. And I'd imagine that cost. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
But I know a lot of these schools use this as a fundraiser, and they're trying to keep as much money as they can from this event.
Right.
But to be able to have officials and not have to have your coaches there, reffing the games, I think it's really valuable. But also use a program, right? I mean, just use a program, be able to have your coaches coach.
Right.
I remember, we talked really a lot about how we really like the way Aziz ran his 7-on-7s, but he had to split up his coaches to kind of referee the games, which makes it hard because you kind of want to coach your kid during the event. But no, but I thought it was that was really interesting that they actually had officials there. I'm not sure how much that costs. If they charge them hourly or what that, or how that works.
And Coach Kramer, 2 thumbs up, right? Cisco and Ebert, 2 thumbs up. Did a good job with the 7-on-7 there. So TJ, that could be a future go-to event.
Well, I will say this, right? We have one more 7-on-7 event to go to. All the ones that I've gone to this year, they've all been really well run. It was really impressive. They've been really well run, and TJ kind of kept it on. And I think what helps is if you go to 7-on-7, you see how something's run and it's run well, you're like, okay, this is what we should mirror. And so it kind of gives you the good old exemplar, right? We're teachers, right? You always want to hold up, hey, here's what an A paper looks like. So that way when they get ready to do their paper, they're like, oh, okay, this is how it should look, right? So they have some ideas. Just really, it seems to be really well run. A lot of teams there. It's the first time I've ever been to TJ. I've never been there before.
I mean, you can go either way. You got a couple good sandwich spots over there. Little Arby's, the old Arby's. They have the old sign.
They do.
Arby's?
Yeah.
It's like the 1960s Arby's sign.
What was nice too for TJ wise is that their fields are right next to each other. Their 2 turf fields are right next to each other, which I thought was really convenient. Like today we went to Westfield, and there was no hike between those 2 fields today.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, so put TJ in the list. It's a must-to event, go-to event going forward next year. And then we had a busy week. We weren't kidding.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, like I told you, I saw Paul Simon. No diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Very upset by that. No call me Al. Very upset by that.
Oh, man.
I told you, but a lot of Simon and Garfunkel, which, it's all right. But a couple of my favorite songs they didn't play. So it is what it is. My wife had a good time, though. All right. So, but, you did those 2 events. And then I think on Monday night or Tuesday night of last week, we were invited to come and kind of see sort of the new personnel over at St. James.
Yeah.
And kind of tour the facility and sort of kind of see what, if parents come in, right? And what do they see? What do they get to see when they on a tour and that kind of thing? And pretty impressive, right? Pretty impressive.
I mean, I get it, right? The facilities they have are better than any public high school. And that's not, I'm not knocking a public high school. Public high schools are not going to have
better than a public high school. Better than I told you, better than a resort you might go to on your honeymoon. No, I'm serious. They had people doing like pedicures and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, really impressive. But I mean, although it's the first time I've ever seen the St. James. I mean, essentially, we have to see the St. James, the underbelly of the St.
Well,
James.
yeah, because I've done like the ice hockey rink and the basketball court. And I had done the normal stuff. I had never seen like the salon stuff, and then even the weight room. I'd only seen the regular weight room.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had a basement area where like the free weights were kind of the athletes go to. I didn't know they had that.
Yeah, no, it was really impressive, and then we got to see all the kids, especially we essentially got to see the kids who had just arrived from Riverview Baptist.
Right. Yes.
Holy moly! I mean,
yeah.
I think I told you the two receivers walked in, and I thought they were coaches. Those guys are like grown men.
Yeah.
They look like the real deal, you know.
Well, we got to see Cash Carter, the
Yeah.
quarterback, who's got a Syracuse offer and I think a Toledo offer. I could be messing that up. I think that's correct. We got to see Josiah Teasley, the receiver, the 6'7" receiver, who now has a Toledo offer. I think he just got a UVA offer too.
Okay.
Now a couple of the guys were at Virginia Tech. I think he said on a tour.
We have to see Sievely.
Yeah.
See him, the defensive end out of Stafford, who looks like, I mean, he passed the eyeball test and he's got 13 offers already.
Yeah, holy smokes.
Yeah.
And then so we just got to see some of that and kind of talk to the coaches. We'll talk to some of the players.
Yeah.
And just to see kind of what's going on over there and get caught up on something. It's been a while. We interviewed Coach Dio back, I think it was in February.
Yeah.
And then while we were there, we talked about I didn't know that they're starting I knew they were starting at basketball, but they're moving fast with that.
Yeah.
Basketball thing. Got to see my good friend Jamar Betts, who, played at Radford, coached at Episcopal. His son is now Jaden Betts transferring. I know this is not all 3-pointers or all nets, but this is all Hitches. But we saw him over there, and Jamar's one of my best friends. He was in my wedding, and I was in his wedding, and he coincidentally was there with his son, and his son just transferred.
Yeah.
So I thought that and what they said, they're getting a basketball player from like Senegal, or Sierra Leone, and from China.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not messing around, and they're doing the Nike circuit for basketball.
So they'll be traveling around. So probably a lot of travel for those kids.
That's a lot of traveling.
A lot of travel for them. The big question for them is how are they going to perform against St. Francis in that big game? Now, our understanding is they're playing the national team. That's confirmed.
They're playing St. Francis national team.
Confirmed. Yeah, not the regional team.
Right.
That's going to be a big game. That's going to be a big game.
So, and Teasley also took a Penn State visit recently. So, I mean, you're a 6'7" receiver. You can kind of kind of go where you want to go almost.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
Yeah.
And Cobb, and I know you love Cobb. He's the speedster slot guy running back.
Yeah.
I think Delaware State and a ton of other offers. So that was an impressive visit. We were there. We were there late, and we thank them for their
they always treat us well too over there.
Hospitality, great hospitality.
Yeah.
Great guys. And then I went to Burger King, and I told you I went to the Burger King. It was late night, didn't sit well with my stomach. And I love food, and I like the occasional Whopper, but the Whopper didn't serve me that well. But you know what? I'm a trooper, and I toughed it out, and I went to work the next day, buddy, because that's what you do. We grind it out, man. You can't just sit at home. Like you think Cal Ripken ate Burger King and then didn't play the next game? He played.
He did.
And that's what I did. So and then that brings us got a couple of days off, kind of rested a little bit.
Well, actually, in between, who was the we had someone get a big offer in Fairfax.
And you're right. There was a couple offers over there was quite a few offers over the week. Who were you going to say first?
The wide receiver Henriquez.
University of Maryland.
Yeah, that's a Power 5 offer.
There was Henriquez got the power. Look, and I know you love Dalen Jones.
Yes.
That's for the other receiver. Yeah. Henriquez to get the offer to Maryland because Dalen Jones's offer is coming from somewhere.
Right.
You're looking at Oakland's going to have 2 Division I, probably Power 5 receivers.
Right.
And Jack Martin's a stud at quarterback.
Yeah, they're gonna be an issue. They're gonna be a huge.
And the left tackle, I think, is committed somewhere, or at least has some Division I offers.
Yeah, I mean, Oakton is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Concord for sure. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of our preview that's going to come in about a month or so. Actually, or a month, maybe like a month and a half. But yeah, they've got a lot of firepower over there.
Oh yeah.
But congratulations to him, right? Congratulations to him.
The other one was Wesley Farmer from Westfield. Got his first offer, Bowling Green.
Yeah, congratulations to them. Glad that we're getting some NoVA kids getting some recognition and well deserved, right? Well deserved. Yeah. I guess they were former Westfield players.
The Thompson twins got Delaware State, and Delaware State came and made a whole slew of offers.
Yeah. Deshaun Jackson, Long Beach legend.
Deshaun Jackson might be a NoVA legend soon. By the way, he's making offers around here.
He had spent last year as the offensive coordinator at Long Beach Wilson, and he brought a lot of those kids up from there to Delaware State with him, and then but that's the big thing, right? That's a big thing right now, bringing in an ex big name NFL player. And I'm not saying Deshaun Jackson can't coach. I would never. But I'm just saying, bring in.
Man, that's a guy from your neck of the woods. You love it.
It is absolutely, man. It's absolutely 5'6" bringing that guy, bringing the coaches right there, and it has a little cachet with the kids, right? I mean that's college football. And don't get me wrong, you have to be able to coach in college football, but the number one thing you have to be able to do is recruit, right?
Right. No, 100%. Is there a comment? I'm trying to look and see. I'm always bad with the comments.
Let me.
It says special or St. James. I can't tell what it says. All right, so we got that was, and I know we're probably missing a few other offers that came out because there was actually a whole slew of them, and those are the ones that kind of top of my head.
Yeah.
But I see. Do you see any other comments on there?
I just see Tristan Luck's comment is St. James.
St. James. Okay.
That's all I have. If he's still on here, we have to see Tristan. We have to meet Tristan Lux for the first time. Good young man.
Yeah, got to meet Tristan Lux and his dad.
Man.
Yeah. I called him Thunderlips.
He did.
Remember Thunderlips? He was the ultimate male.
He was.
And then he took Balboa and he threw him and he called him the ultimate meatball. And Tristan Lux could have picked me up like Balboa and he could have thrown me.
Yeah.
We
got to meet him. What a fantastic young man. And now we'll get into the other thing, but the amount of young men who came up and kind of shook our hand and kind of.
Yes.
I mean, that just means something as far as a kind of character, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Seeing it everywhere, man. Seeing it everywhere, which we'll get into right now. So, again, being the troopers there we are. We got off work. We had a short day today. We went to the end of year meetings. Grinded through the end of the year meetings, right? Yeah. Just grinded through those meetings. You won an award at the meetings for best 5-year teacher of the year award.
I don't know if I was the best 5-year teacher.
All right. Well, in my heart, you're the best 5-year teacher. So you won that award.
I appreciate it.
And then best 5-year teacher with a podcast award.
Okay. I think that. All right.
Actually, we probably got to scope it down even more. Best 5-year teacher with the football podcast award. But anyways, we left and we went right to Westfield. We took the drive down 66, went to Westfield, and it was awesome. I mean, it was a smorgasbord of teams.
Yeah.
And we got there right away. Heavy hitters.
You had one team that won the region. You had another team that was 3 points away from being in the for winning their region. You had WNL ended up in the championship game, but I mean from knocking off Madison.
Yep, that's correct.
At that one, every team there made the playoffs.
Yeah,
every team made Robinson did not, but they almost Thursday night they were going to make the playoffs, and then Friday they did not make the playoffs, right? So all those teams, and Robinson's a blue blood, right? Robinson's a blue blood football out there. Well organized. Oh yeah, right? I really like the way. So this is all new to me still with the the way they do that format. But I thought I really liked it. So the way they did it was the defenses stayed on their field, and the offensive walked around. So they ended up playing everybody all the way through. Yeah, but we got to see some talent, huh?
We really did.
Ty Jackson is the real deal. I mean, his arm is something to be. I mean, because he just barely flicks the ball and that thing just shoots out of his hand. I mean,
he's getting bigger. Yeah. He's always been a big son of a gun, but he's getting bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of Delaware State, and Norfolk State.
Yeah,
Michael Vick, good talent. Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson, former Eagles. Actually,
yeah. So I guess kind of getting into what we saw, we'll start with Lake Braddock. Lake Braddock has two backs. They have Peyton Holmes. Remember
Peyton Holmes?
Yeah, he looks like the real deal. And then who was the power back?
Oh man, we'll get to it. We saw Coach Smith.
Yeah,
hope he's doing well with the injury. Hopefully he'll be good to go by football season. He told us the other running back. If you know it, you can write down the thing. But they're going to have a 1-2 punch. They're going to have a little thunder and lightning.
Yeah,
they had to replace the runaway beer truck Bordeaux.
Yeah,
and it looks like they might find the guy.
They had another receiver who was really quick, and we saw a lot of teams today, and unfortunately,
yeah, right now without jerseys, real jerseys, without names, without rosters, it's so hard. We'd love to be able to give a lot of these kids credit. We don't have the names right now.
And defensively for Lake Braddock, I saw a couple of D linemen, and Coach Crush. I'm so sorry, Coach Crush is our guy. He said he had some guys who thought that would be able to fill the role, and we saw one kid when they were going against Centerville.
Yeah.
Blowing up the play and Centerville is not a lightweight. It's not like
they had some big linemen.
They had some big linemen, but they had a kid who was constantly in the backfield, which was pretty impressive.
It was impressive. Peyton Holmes, buddy. Yeah. Peyton Holmes looking like Priest Holmes.
Yeah. So that was my thought of Brad. You say you saw Chantilly for a little bit.
I saw Chantilly. I'll tell you what, Zahir Mantry.
Yeah.
Wheeling and dealing out there.
Third-year starter. So you have a son who was a 3-year starter. His senior year, obviously, he makes a huge leap, right?
It's a huge leap senior year, and man, you could see it. And I mean, he was throwing darts out there. He was throwing darts. So I think Chantilly's got, they're going to be in good hands. And then on that field, I got to see Herndon a little bit. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
And Herndon's going young with Josh Richards, and they got a whole new staff.
Yeah.
Probably all new personnel because they had so many seniors on that team.
Yeah.
So we don't really know what to expect out of this Herndon bunch this year. But I'll tell you what, the quarterback.
We
talked to Josh for a minute. Big guy. He's wearing number 9. Big guy. He was a baseball kid.
Yeah. Well, you can tell because he can sling it.
Like a young Jay Schrader, right? I mean, just you remember Jay Schrader?
Yeah. Do you want to call him Jay Schrader?
Yeah. Look. You can mock it all you want, buddy. You can laugh it up, yuck it up over there. I was a Jay Schrader fan. Jay Schrader was a good quarterback. And he was a baseball guy trying to Blue Jays farm team. And Schrader was so good at some point. He got the Raiders traded Jim Lachey for Jay Schrader. He was the heir apparent in Washington after Theismann. Now you got me freaking like I'm a Schrader bandwagon. Jay Schrader he was a strong-armed quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. But this kid, he had a strong arm, baseball kid. So I think they could be in good hands over there. A couple big tight ends over there. I told Josh, I said, you got a couple big. He said, Nana. He said, the kid's name is Nana. Big blocking tight end. Looked good.
Yeah.
And then who else? I'm telling you who I saw. I saw a little bit of Robinson on my field. That's another. I talked to Coach Blair for a little while. They're another one, right? You graduated your record-breaking quarterback, your record-breaking wide receiver. You graduated a ton of seniors at Robinson.
Yeah.
So he's kind of. And then he told me that. One of the guys who might be, one of the senior quarterbacks going into it right now, he's gone because they're in the lacrosse state semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
So he's missing a whole slew of guys at the lacrosse semifinals. So Robinson didn't have all, and that's the only sport still, I think, as far as football kids go for the most part. If you're gone at a lacrosse event, you're the only guys not around.
Yeah. Let's see who else I think I saw. Got to see a little bit of Westfield. They got a big quarterback. They got pretty big.
Carlson, he's the real deal.
Yeah. Like a quick little scat back. Again, don't know his name. We'll learn more names later.
Well, we saw, and he kind of reminded us of Kennedy Duda from a year ago.
A little bit, yeah.
Right?
Trying to think who else we saw while we were there. We got to watch.
Couple studs over on
Oh, Centerville. They had two
Oh.
D linemen, 42 and 66. I'm sorry we didn't get your name, guys, but whoa, boy, they look like they are going to be. Concord's got some size, don't they?
Yeah, they do. That was one of the takeaways that you and I when we went to Fairfax. We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
When we left Westfield, we were like, man, it's kind of a tale of the tape. It's two different stories between Patriot and Concord. But the Concord teams are enormous.
Yeah, though they had some big boys. Yeah, 42 and 66, and I'm sure we'll get to know their name. And if you know who they are, when the coaches watch stuff, and let us know who they were. But they looked like they're going to be a problem, right? Centerville did not have the season I'm sure they wanted last year. That may not be the case this year. This year looked like they are primed and ready to kind of get themselves back in the Concord Championship conversation.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Centerville, knowing they were a little bit on the younger side last year.
Yeah.
You just talked about the quarterback making that jump his senior year.
Yeah.
I think Shields is another 3-year starter.
Yeah.
And I think this is what you waited for, right?
Yeah.
Like Parcells said, this is why you lift all them weights. This is why you do all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is why you played these guys all these years. Right now you are seniors. Let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Centerville's got quite a few of them.
But really, really great event there at Westfield.
Did we miss anybody? Did we miss anyone from that?
I don't believe so. I don't. We saw a lot. We've seen a lot of football.
Today we saw a lot of football. We
saw a lot of football. Not that I'm sure.
Got to see Paul Granados from Catholic University.
We did. We had two college coaches at that place, right? We had
Catholic was there, and then
Catholic
a guy
and
from Bridgewater.
Bridgewater, yeah, they were there at these events. So now we heard this might be the end of camps. Now we've heard a rumor that they may not be able to.
We've been hearing that forever.
Yeah,
they've been saying that forever.
Yeah.
I hope they don't. I think these are great. I think more schools should do them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, again, coming from the outside in, the ability to see kind of what you have in June gives you some better ideas of what you need to work on in August. I mean, that's what I think. You can see a little bit of 7-on-7, and they do the quick whistles, but be able to see your team hit somebody else, because let's be honest, right? 7-on-7 is not real football.
Right.
I've had teams that I've coached that are not very good football teams that have beat very good football teams in 7-on-7.
Right.
Because it's a different game, right? 4 seconds, quarterback's in his face, no one's running the football, you're not getting blitzed. I've beaten better talent in 7-on-7, and then when real football shows up, it's a little different. So quick whistles, but to be able to see, are my linemen going to get blown backwards, right?
Yeah.
I can see the initial push, the initial
right.
shot. And so I think it's a great opportunity for, if you have a young squad or if you have a squad, especially if I'm a new coach, I want to see what exactly I'm walking into. There's only so much I can see from the film before, considering the fact that's not how I coach. So I think that, I just kind of want to look at for myself. And, we talk more about 7-on-7. I'm competitive, you're competitive, we're all competitive, you want to win. But at the end of the day, I think that using this as an opportunity to see how my kids react to something in front of them that they're not used to, what does that look like?
No, I agree with you. Those are good points.
Yeah.
So you and I grinding it, freaking in the heat. I felt like we were remember Shawshank when they were on the rooftop? That's kind of what it felt like. We were on the rooftop of Shawshank. We just said, "Oh, sir, just give me just give me some suds." and it was hot, and we were sweating, but we left. We had no water. We were thirsty, and went to Fairfax. By the way, traffic was freaking awful.
It wasn't too bad going the other way.
Did you take the you have the little pass to take are you cheating?
No, the bad part was coming out of Dulles, but once you got past Dulles on the 66, it wasn't.
28 was a disaster.
But for 10, God, you're such a baby.
I don't drive more than like 3 miles a day.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
So that was rough, but we did it. We got to Fairfax, and it was such an interesting contrast, right?
Right.
Right when we get there, what do we hear? You hear Coach Taylor. I think the people at Freddy's and whatever was the other restaurant and Moby Dick's, I think they heard Coach Taylor.
Yeah.
They got scared. They heard Coach Taylor. They all got scared. They all started ducking. I mean, he said, You don't take anyone to the ground right now. You can get your butt out of here. He didn't say
Yeah.
He was laying the law down. The kids knew, and they weren't going to hit each other. They weren't going to tackle anybody because otherwise they were going to suffer the wrath of coach.
Yeah.
So and that's what you got to do. You got to let them know early. You know, we're not doing any of that stuff.
Yeah.
We want to keep on doing these camps.
Right.
So let's get it right now. So right away we hear Coach Taylor, and then we see the kind of the new staff. We see Coach Pannoni out there. We saw Coach Donaldson out there in blue. It's kind of weird, right? Not seeing them in green.
Right.
In
fact, over at Westfield, we saw
Coach Gingrich in purple, right?
In purple.
Wow. Times they are changing.
Yeah.
They are changing.
It's like seeing it might be like seeing Magic Johnson in Celtic green or Larry Bird in Laker purple, right?
Right. Joe Namath in a Rams jersey. So right away we get there at a great time.
Yeah.
We see Fairfax and Madison.
Yeah, two heavy hitters going at it.
Oh right? Man, that was awesome. And I'll tell you what, they went at it, and you and I called it a draw.
Not just that though, but we talk about size. Fairfax is big.
Yeah, they are.
They got some big boys. They got a big rising junior. Why can't I think of his name?
Well, you got Anthony Murad.
That's what I'm talking about. Ooh,
300-pounder.
Yeah.
I use this line with our guy from St. James. I'm going to use it here. If you're a 300-pounder, they don't walk with you. They walk among you. And they're walking among young Anthony Murad, who's, by the way, we got to see his father, George Murad, great guy.
Annandale alum, got a ring. Yeah.
With Coach Adams. But yeah, so he was ferocious. How about our man Tolson, Fairfax? He came over, said hello. He's the real deal.
Yeah, they look like they're going to be. I mean, Coach Taylor's got those guys playing well.
Yeah, how excited is Coach?
And I'll say this.
Coach Harris is very excited about this front.
I'll say this, and I'm sure someone will chime back and say I'm wrong, but I don't remember Fairfax being this big. I don't remember them having this kind of size that they have now. I feel like this is maybe one of the bigger Fairfax teams that I've seen in the last few years.
Well, look, we've been saying
across the board, they've had big guys here and there, but I think across the board they've got some size to them.
Well, we've been saying this, right? I was going to say we've been saying this for years now, but we're finished. We're starting up year 2, but granted, year 1 felt like it was about 10 years long.
Yeah.
Coach Trey Taylor is one of the best. I said this last year in developing in the weight room.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're seeing the dividends paying off now with those linemen. Those linemen, they're not 6'7".
No.
So they're not big in that regard, but they're big guys.
Yeah, they're going to be
strong guys.
They're going to be a problem to move. And we got to see that. And we got to see them against Madison.
Right.
And Madison is reloading this year, right? This is not the team this is not the state championship, back-to-back state championship.
Right. But Madison reloads, and they have a championship pedigree.
Yeah, and man, they are physical, aren't they? They are. Now, during their team session, they threw the ball a lot. So what I assume is that they're working on pass pro, right? They were not, they were not the Madison we're used to seeing of, just running, good old 2-back pro and kind of running it down people's throats. So they threw the ball a ton. But defensively, they were still, just like every year, they don't look. Impressive is the wrong word, but they don't look overwhelming and intimidating as far as like size, right? They're not walking out there with 6'5", 300-pound guys across the board,
right?
But they just play really good football, right? They just play really good football. They really sound fundamental. They're not going to beat themselves football, and it was evident today, right? Jackson Ambrose is not walking through that door, right?
Right.
Dom Nicely is not walking through that door, right? But they just do what they do and do it well.
We were saying this. They have a sort of an air to them, sort of a swagger to them. It's sort of like the old like Patriot teams, the old Duke teams, right? Like they don't do a ton of talking.
Yeah. But
you can just see it that they know they're champions.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing, and I said it when we were talking there at the scrimmage. These are the kids that practice against the state champs, or the not state champs, but the
Hey, I mean, like you could almost say state champs.
The back-to-back state finalists for 2 years.
Right.
They're not going to see a team. I don't want to say better, but as far as having to see those guys day in and day out, and have to play against those guys day in and day out, they're about as battle tested as you can be for a team that has a bunch of a bunch of brand new starters, right?
Yeah, for sure, sure. Very. And I mean, when they were going run, I mean, it was an all-out war. That was a Donnybrook.
Yeah. And what a way to kind of measure yourself early on, right?
I like it. I like it for Fairfax, right? For everything you said, because if you're Coach Harris and you're working with your D line, and you took it to him, right? And like we said, it was probably a stalemate. You're like, we just went toe to toe with essentially the state champs from last year. I'm going to say that might ruffle some feathers down south, but essentially the state champs from a year ago,
or at least the old Northern Region champ, right?
Right, and state runner-ups by a fluke freaking penalty,
and they could have beat
right,
yeah,
and you just went toe to toe with him. I mean that's saying something.
Just a man. It's just a man.
Right. He's made of iron. He's made of iron, this guy. So I'm telling you, very impressed. Obviously, always impressed with Madison.
Yeah.
But very impressed by Fairfax. Almost like there was a guy who kind of has Fairfax as his sort of underdog here. Who was? Oh, yeah, that was this guy. We're going to revisit that clip when we start in August. I'm going to revisit my clip from December, and you're going to be impressed by that, buddy. You're going to be impressed.
Am I going to be impressed?
You might be impressed.
I don't know. It's pretty easy to impress me. The
other side of the field, though, we had Oakton and WNL. What are your thoughts on that?
So kind of this kind of big thing. WNL is huge. That offensive line was massive.
They were.
They might be collectively the biggest offensive line we saw out of all the teams that we saw today.
I agree with that. I agree. They were.
Now Oakton had a really the left tackle they have is
left
big.
Tackle, I believe, yeah.
But man, WNL has got some horses up front.
I think it was number 88
I
think the 88 for WNL was the biggest guy out there. The guy was a monster.
Maybe he was wearing number 88 because every other number looked small on him. They needed the two largest numbers possible on that kid.
It was only one number that fit.
Yeah. We got to see Dalen Jones a little bit. I didn't get a chance to watch him during the 7-on-7 period. I think I saw him carry the ball once.
Right. A little more, but a kind of a contrast, right, of styles.
Yeah.
And when you look over to apparently they've been switching off every day.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to see Oakton, versus Fairfax or vice versa. But we got to see all we got to see was Oakton and WNL. And I think both those two teams, they're probably going to be. Let me just go. I don't think I need to put on my Nostradamus hat to say that those two teams are going to throw it more than the other two teams we just talked about.
Probably. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think so. And also like the formations they were lining up in, Fairfax and Madison were two backs down your throat. Here it comes. That I don't. Well, in fact, I think we saw at one point during the run session, I think I saw Oakton start to throw RPOs because that's going to be part of what they do, right? And right. I think that's smart, right? I mean, as much as you'd like to kind of stay within the format, you don't want to build a bad habit and the kid gets used to handing it off as opposed to reading for his RPO read, right?
Yeah, you want to run your offense.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's what this is for. Again, coaches are competitive. We're all competitive. But you really want to try to keep this as much as practice as you can because you're going to film it and then be able to teach from it. And this is the last time you're going to be able to do this until August, right?
Right. But yeah, it was good vibes all around.
Yeah.
Right. Both events were positive.
Yeah.
Again, like we said, from Fairfax, we had Tolson came over and sitting. Talk about respectful young men earlier. Young Anthony Murad and then young Tolson came over, shook our hands. Said hello. Just respectful kids, good kids, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a good events to go to. I enjoyed myself going to watch.
I'm going to say this: any teams out there that are kind of deliberating and trying to think, should I do this next year? Should I not? Assuming they still allow it, which hopefully they will. If they do it. Join it.
Yeah.
Call Coach Voss up call Coach Taylor up, see if you can get in there. If you can't get in there, try and set up your own, right, with some other teams. They're just good events, and if you manage it well, the way those two guys did, it's gonna be a great event for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Man. It was nice to see some football, huh?
It was great to see some football. It was great, and then so we did that. I got a bite to eat because Freddy's was over across the street, and I like a good Freddy's burger. So went to Freddy's, got myself a double cheeseburger and some tater tots, and then and a soda, and then drove home. I ate most of it on the car ride, because I was starving and dying. Got home and then like I told you, I got handed the baby. My wife had to work.
Yeah.
Actually, she handed me the baby and said, "Hey, by the way, there's 10 8th graders out back by the pool. You're it. You're on." And as I'm like just dying of just heat stroke. So, so here we are. Here we are. And it's not over yet.
It's not.
We got something. We got maybe the biggest 7-on-7 event.
I think it is. I think
it's in Northern Virginia, right? This offseason, and it's the big Oakton Cougar event.
A lot of teams out there.
Could be upwards of 40 some odd teams.
Yeah, it'll be interesting after seeing kids in helmets and shoulder pads going back to watch kids play 7-on-7. I don't know. I mean, not that I'm not going to enjoy going to watch them play, but it'll be a little bit like you got a little taste of the main course, but now you're going back to the apps.
Yeah. Well, for those teams especially, right? For those kids.
Yeah.
They're like, "Are you serious? I thought we were hitting now."
Yeah.
Maybe you'll see. Actually, it'll be interesting to see those teams in particular and kind of watch them, the ones that are in it, and see if they're some of the guys that are a little more physical out there.
More physical. Yeah. They've spent the last 3 days being physical. It's kind of hard to turn that off, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The one thing about that 7-on-7 that's coming up, it's the first 7-on-7 and the only 7-on-7. I think most teams are going to kind of start dialing them back now. You might have a couple here and there out of town, but this is pretty much it for the local stuff. And it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully everyone's represented now because this is the first one where the spring sports are finally over.
Right. Yeah. So you should have your full complement of guys, right?
Right. I mean, outside of you being in the state final. If you're in the state final for lacrosse, well, by the way, congratulations, West Potomac. They are awaiting the winner of Robinson and Cosby.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cosby? That's
Cosby. No, not that Cosby. This was a good Cosby, not that Cosby. I did like a good.
I was gonna say, but being Crosby.
No, Cosby.
Yeah.
But like the Jello pudding pop. Remember those things? I could have used one today in the heat. Those things were delicious. But this is the first event. So outside of Robinson, if they make the final, and as of right now, that game might be over. But as of right now, it could be Robinson, it could be Westpo. They might not have their guys, but everybody else should have their full, arsenal of players, except if you got some guys who maybe went out of town on a vacation or something.
Yeah. Apparently there'll be some Loudoun teams on Saturday, according to Coach Law.
Oh, so Tuscarora is going to be there.
I don't know. He just said Loudoun teams going. I don't know if Tuscarora is going to be there. Possibly Tuscarora. I don't know.
Well, Tuscarora could be there.
Maybe that'll get a place where they can ignore us in person.
Tuscarora? No. They're a friend of the show now.
I'm just saying the Loudoun teams. Maybe that place.
Oh, some of the Loudoun teams, for whatever, but not anymore. Not anymore. We said we're going to start covering some of these Loudoun teams. We made the announcement. We're going to start covering.
Oh, Tuscarora will be there.
Tuscarora. Actually, you might see a little Tuscarora versus Herndon in this event. That could be a little battle. That's a week 1 game too.
That is a week 1 game. Oh, that'll be
fun
interesting
stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this 7-on-7. Now, I will be there, my friend. This is not going to be like the TJ event where I wasn't feeling well in the morning. Now, I might not be feeling well in the morning. My daughter's having her grad party on Friday. I'm having friends over as well. It's a celebration, family, all that stuff. But no matter how poorly I feel the next morning, my friend, I will be there.
Yeah, will you? I feel like there's a chance you're not there. I feel like I'm going to get there, and like the last 3 7-on-7 events, I'm going to call you and say, "Hey, where are you?" And you're like, "Nah, man, I couldn't." That's what
there's a little bit of that, but this is in my backyard. This is at Oakton.
Actually, a lot of people don't know this. a tradition for myself and Coach Dash is after the Oaks and 7-on-7 events, we go to Chantilly's and eat. So if anyone wants to go and buy us food,
yeah, at Santini's.
At Santini's, we'll be there.
We go to Santini's.
If you'd like to buy us a meal, because we will be there, or you can sit down with us and while I down about 6 orange sodas.
You love the orange soda at Santini's.
Although I may not be as tired. Last few times we went, I was really tired just because we were coaching the whole day, and then I went there and I was just down. I should probably have just stood underneath the soda fountain and just kind of put my mouth open and drink it all. Yeah, so you're with us. And a curiosity, those of you guys who are watching right now, we only have 6 on YouTube, and I don't know how this sort of thing works. We always debate on which one do you order when you go. Do you get the curly seasoned fries or do you get the steak fries? They should have a half and half, man.
I like them both. They do a half and half.
Do they do a half and half?
On board. Santini's is to get on board. We're going to go in there. We're going to put on some like tank army hats. And we're going to bum rush the show at Santini's. We're going to say, Santini's, we're talking about you right now in front of our audience. We got 300 some odd viewers right now on Twitter. And we need a little love here, Santini's. Celebrity Deli, knows what they're doing. Santini's. Can Santini's match the brains of Celebrity Deli? I don't know. I'm questioning the brain power at Santini's. Good sandwiches, but I question the brain power. We're going to find out. We're going to go in there.
Also, because we're winding down here. Coach Dash and I kept on getting these little black bugs on us at Westfield.
They were not ticks. There's no way.
And someone was telling us they were ticks. And so I don't know if I have Lyme disease now or not. I needed someone to tell us is at Westfield. Are those ticks? Are those not ticks? I don't know.
There was like these they look like little black ladybugs, which I always thought it's a little black ladybug. That must be a tick. There was a couple of them on Mesa, and then there was one on my arm. And then I saw one on, I think on.
Coach Gall says it's a boll weevils.
What did he say it was?
Boll weevils? Boll weevils?
Is that a cousin of are they related to ticks in any way?
Weevil wobbles, but they don't fall down. I don't.
Okay.
Well, according to him, they're not ticks. So I'm glad I don't have Lyme disease.
Hey, Coach Gall knows his stuff. That's a man that I do trust. So I'm gonna go with that. And I had a feeling maybe they weren't ticks because it was weird to have that many. The odds of having that many ticks on you just standing on a freaking turf field are slim to none.
I don't know. I just know that they're all over us, and I was. And then when someone said they were ticks, I got nervous because I don't want to have Lyme disease. Because I don't. Is there a cure for Lyme disease or not a cure for Lyme disease? How does that work?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Coach Gall, they weren't ticks. Thank you, Coach Gall.
Coach, like I said, Coach Gall, that's a man that I trust. It's a man that I trust.
Yeah.
So yeah, great. So packed, action packed. I feel like after this event, though, I'll say this: after the June 14th 7-on-7, it's kind of it's sort of winding down, kind of the events, right, locally.
Yeah.
And people are doing college visits, right? You're going to see more of those, and it sort of winds things down, and then until like the end of July as we get going again. Yeah.
No, it was good. I'm glad to see people there. It was exciting. It was good. I wish we could have gotten a few more, but I don't know.
It was great. I think it was great. Congratulations to all the graduates, all the 2025 grads.
Yeah, including one Miss Bella Dash.
Yes, my daughter. So now
congratulations. And I tell Dash's kids all the time. I'm like, at this point, you're my nieces and nephews. So I now have a Persian, Cuban, Puerto Rican family that I consider a family. So yeah, no, congratulations. Proud pop over here.
It started with 5. I got three down. 3 have graduated.
Yeah.
I got 2 left. So working my way, just chipping away.
Although you the last one you got a while.
The last one I got a while. But right now, just going to keep hand the ball off, the ball. She's a freshman. Hand the ball off, kill the clock a little bit, right?
I was going to tell you this. I'll tell you this now. I don't care. The coolest thing I saw was that your dad wore his sunglasses inside for the whole thing. Then went outside, took pictures, sunglasses off.
You know why I took them off? Because I looked at my dad. We're doing the pictures. My wife made me take mine off. It was sunny out too. Yeah. And I said, fine, I'll take them off. And I looked at my dad. I'm like, who are you, Kojak? I said, take those things off. And then he looked at me and he cursed at me, but then he took off the glasses.
Yeah. I'll start making the announcement now because we're in June. Coaches, like last year, you're going to get emails from us about our preseason preview. But last year, you didn't know who we were. This year, I feel like you do. And so hopefully we get some quicker responses. And if you can DM us the best email to send the stuff to, it would be awesome. Because it takes a while for these articles to get crafted. They'll get put on the site. I think this year's preview may be a little more in depth too, just because we finally seem to have a foothold here. And they're going to go out to Loudon as well. Hopefully get more. I felt like last year we got almost everybody in Fairfax.
Prince William was a little slow to respond.
William was a little iffy, and now we're going to go into Loudon. Spread the word. If there's anybody here in Loudon, let your coaches know that we are not weirdos. We're not trying to sell you guys anything. We're just trying to promote your programs. So it gives a better idea what to talk to you guys about. And yeah, so I hope all you coaches out there, again, you guys seem to know us. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes we go and they look at us, and I'm like, are you looking at us because you know us or you don't know us? I
look at us because what are these two weirdos? Who are these two strange men on the field right now?
Yeah,
right?
Today I was waiting for somebody to be like, you guys.
Yeah, I was too. I was thinking like, I knew Voss, but at Fairfax we saw Coach Harris, so it was all good. But at first I was like, I hope that people aren't like, you guys can't be here. You need Coach parents can't be on the field. You got to go sit in the stands.
Coach Taylor might start yelling at us.
Yeah, that's right. Remember Bob Uecker in the old Miller Lite commercial? You can't, hey buddy, you can't be here. You need to go to a different spot.
Yeah,
I thought they were gonna pull that, but yeah, you're right. Sometimes it's hard to know if. So I always say, coaches come say hi. We have a pretty good rapport with a lot of the coaches so far, which is awesome. But any coaches that we don't yet with, come on by and say hi. There's no one friendlier.
I will say this. I think you're the more popular of the two of us. They seem to come to you first. You are the Fonzie, and I am the Ralph Mouth of our house.
If you want to talk food and you want to talk about sandwiches, I'm your guy. You want to take X's and O's? Mace is your guy. That's kind of how we'll do it.
Yeah.
In a passerby conversation, sometimes the food convo might be the one that goes in a passerby. But in a long conversation, you're going to talk to, I always say Bill Masachek. He'll talk to you about X's and O's all day long.
Yeah.
But good stuff, man. Good stuff. Fun episode today, man. We covered a lot. We covered everything from Commanders girls flag to the St. James visit to the TJ 7-on-7 to the Oakton 7-on-7 to 2 different team camps today.
Yeah. And also, I'm going to go ahead and continue to go ahead and kind of shill for ourselves. We would love to have gear from all the schools. We will wear it on the show. We currently we have some gear from at least one program, which I we'll wear on the show.
You did. I didn't get it. They didn't have my size, you jerk.
They did not have your size. But we'd love to be.
I'm a medium, and makes it. Were you a large XL?
XL. Although I'm getting to the point where I may be down to a large. But I grew up in the 90s, right? I grew up in the 90s, and I was 160. When I was in high school, and I was 150 pounds, still rocking XLs because that's what we did, right?
Right.
I mean, who wore tight stuff in the 90s? Nobody.
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't a thing back then.
It was not a thing. But yeah, we'd love to have gear from you guys if you.
Yeah, because I'll sport it, man. Like I'll give you a scenario. We're let's just say it's August and it's game of the week, and pick 2 teams. I was going to name 2 teams. Just Marshall's playing WNL, and and Mason and I are talking about our picks and talking about our power rankings, and maybe I think WNL is the top team, and I wear the WNL shirt that day, and I say, Mesa, they're going to win this game, whatever. Yeah. So there are scenarios, and we would put on some of this shirt for fun, just for shtick and for fun. So if you got an extra something, you can always get it out to us.
Yeah, we like free stuff. We like free stuff.
Look, it's fun. The whole thing's about having fun. Yeah. That's why I got my my Nostradamus hat over there and my cowboy hat that I'll be bringing out of retirement. I might just get that Army tank hat.
And at the end of the day, we are here to support Northern Virginia football, right? I mean, that was our goal. Yeah. And again, all this free content you guys are getting, all this free pub you guys are getting. So, we'd love to be able to rock some of your guys' gear on the show. and even wear it around, right? As much as, I mean, I'd wear a, whatever shirt when I head out, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Well, buddy, that's another one in the books. We're gonna get off here. I'm gonna put that thing on the Apple and Spotify and put it on YouTube, and we'll call it. Actually, it's already on YouTube, and we'll call it a day, my friend.
I had somebody tell me today that they are having trouble subscribing to our podcast through Spotify. I don't know.
Is that a coworker?
It was a coworker.
Was it she?
It was a she.
Yeah, she's doing something wrong. No one's ever. No one has ever.
Hey, don't you disparage her. She's a nice lady.
I'm not disparaging. I didn't disparage at all. I said it's the same person. So it's the only person that's ever said that is all I'm saying. That's what I was getting at. So I just don't think that's a thing. So anyone else, any issues on Spotify, let us know, right? If there's any issues on Spotify, let us know. Until then, I think it's that one person's doing it wrong.
Possibly.
All right. All right. Well, I can't wait to see everyone out there at Oakton on Saturday. Come by and say hello. We'll do the same thing when we see you guys. If we catch you during a break or something.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. We don't want to harass you guys when you're doing your thing.
Right. That's the thing is we would like to talk to you, but we've both been coaches, and the last thing you want to do is some guy where you're trying to call it play on third down. Like, hey, what's up, man? Can I talk to you?
Right. You're calling a play. Hey, what's up, buddy? Let's talk. So no, we're gonna let you guys do your things. If you see us and you got a moment, come over, say hi, wave, whatever. We can't wait to see you guys. Mason, can't wait to see you, my friend, at Santini's.
Yes, at Santini's. Come and share what I usually get a calzone. I usually get a calzone and fries.
It's gonna be hot, so I'm gonna end up getting a cold, like Italian or something. It's gonna be hot. I want a cold sandwich.
Yeah.
All right. Well, from all Hitches, Coach Mason, Coach Dash, we'll see you guys Saturday at Oakton 7-on-7.
Yep, sounds good. See ya.
All right.